welcome back to another episode of the Front Runner podcast. My name's Arlen Kayser, and we've got another great episode of the show coming up ahead of Leon Macdonald Stakes Day. There's been a lot going around our great state and country, so let's get stuck in as I welcome in the punter's pal, Lincoln Moore.
200 metres to go, 3 lengths clear, 8 on the dot might be the late thread out wide, 150 to travel, Silent Emmy's still on top, 8 on the dot's chasing really hard with Harsh, Silent Emmy's getting the stitch here, 8 on the dot's coming, Silent Emmy needs the post, 8 on the dot's got her, it's on the outside, 8 on the dot. 8 on the dot wins.
Well, Mr. $31 winner for those following us on socials.
Yeah, something for the battlers, I guess, mate. It was, look, you hope to get one right every now and again. And thankfully, 8 on the dot did it. I was reasonably confident in the run, but more confident on the corner when it loomed large. And yeah, the $31 is pretty good. And I think you could get a little bit extra elsewhere if you were keen to shop around.
Yeah, very, very nice. He went 2 from 2 last Wednesday and a $31 winner on Saturday. Fair to say, Lincoln Moore's in good form.
Best scratch today, so that's the way.
Another collect.
exactly. But yeah, good to be finding a couple of winners as we get into the better races, because we know everyone loves a punt come the spring.
All right, Link, let's get stuck into the news this week. And I suppose the most exciting thing was South Australian-owned Ferrivia wins the Quezette over in Melbourne last start.
Yeah, a little bit of an upset, I guess. A horse that clearly the stable had a big opinion of was back for a stack here when it won on debut at Murray Bridge, but it was a good ride. But Lockie Nindorf getting that, I guess, vital early Melbourne winner since making the move. And yeah, it was a good ride because he didn't panic. I thought watching the run that she was probably struggling.
Yep.
But I think there was a few of them off the bit a long way out, and he was able to just trust his judgment and good through the line. So, look, we know we're probably starved of a few, spring contenders, but maybe Ferrivia is one that we'll be able to follow with a bit of interest, knowing that they want to go to the 1,000 guineas.
Obviously, he's got the backing of the Stokes stable over there, but good to see him also supported by a few good stables this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I think where he's based at Pakenham, he's going to get a lot of good opportunities. Catherine Coleman and Peter Moody have chucked him on one this weekend. Charlotte Littlefield, I noticed he's riding for. He just missed in the a recent race in Melbourne here. We're recording Wednesday, just gone. And he teams up with the old firm, Richard and Chantel Jolly, who he did his apprenticeship with here in Adelaide early days. He's got Pudding over there, and I reckon he'll get a few rides for the Jollies over there because they obviously have a great relationship going back a long way.
Yeah. Another exciting thing is the map. She's back this weekend in the Leon Macdonald Stakes. She's had 2 jump outs, and we chatted to Whoopi McGilvray earlier this week just to find out a bit more about the map and her plans going forward.
Whoopi's second hit out, I guess, trial for the map this campaign. What was the report?
She's pulled up really well, very clean-winded, and she just she jumped much better than she did in her first trial. And the report from Emily was that she flew.
So, right where you guys want her at this stage of the campaign?
Yeah, I think so. She's going to 1,400 metres, which is obviously a lot shorter than her best, but she's definitely had the legwork and she's fit. Hopefully there's a little bit of freshness, and I'm sure she'll run a really good race, which is all we need to see, thinking of what's coming ahead of us.
Yeah, good to see the map back. I guess we all thought that it was the last we were going to see of her when they pulled up stumps and actually put her through a sale. That didn't eventuate. She's back in work. She seems to be ticking along really well. And look, Dan and Upi, they're such a hands-on and I guess diligent stable that they wouldn't be pressing on if they didn't think that she had more to offer. And the reports are good. She's jumped out well, and we know she ran a bottler in this race last year. So look, they wanted to get her to another Melbourne Cup, and Dan said to me a couple of weeks ago he's going to try and keep her away from Caulfield. He didn't think that was a track that suited her. So I think she'll go here and then Flemington in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, very, very nice. Hopefully she can get back, because I think there feels a bit of unfinished business with that race.
Yeah, absolutely. It was such a wild ride, the whole Melbourne Cup thing, especially from a South Australian perspective. Knowing we had a runner a long way out meant that there was a lot of not hysteria, but we were all sort of riding the coattails of that campaign, and it never went. It was probably over the moment she drew wide, and then they probably chanced their arm when they, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but you probably think, the way the winner did, you go back and just ride for luck in a Melbourne Cup. But, it'd be great to see her back in it. We know what a good horse she's been, and it'd be pretty amazing to get her on another Melbourne Cup. I'm not quite sure how they do that, but that's why Dan's the trainer and I'm just a battler this side of the camera.
Definitely a battler, except when it comes to punting. But got a couple interstate runners on Saturday at Moonee Valley. Interesting to see any luck from Wayne Walters and the stable there, and I think Kate's riding in race 4. Just had a look. Wayne Walters, according to Racing and Sports, he's had 20 career winners at the Valley. His 7th most successful track of all time in his long and distinguished training career.
Yeah, I guess probably more renowned nowadays for his wild post-race interviews when he wins a race down in the southeast. But clearly a man over the journey that's been able to train, and believe you got some even more better information from the racing office. He's a Group 1 winning trainer, is that right?
3-time Group 1 winner at the least, because some of these records don't go back that well. But he's won a CF4, a Memsey, and I think a Rupert Clark as well back in like 1980 to 1985.
Amazing stats. And as we know, racing is its own worst enemy when it comes to the vital stats. Yeah. It'd be good to know exactly, I guess when we go right back into the ages, what the history shows. But he's been doing it a long time, can certainly train. So good luck to the Walters family with any luck.
Yeah, definitely a chance in that race too. With any of those stayers can bob up on their day.
Absolutely, the horse has been ticking along pretty well. I know it just. I don't think it's an easy horse to ride, and he's kind of got to let it do its own thing. But when it does show up, it certainly can perform.
And as we touched on before, Pudding's going to go around in race 6 for the Jollies and Lockie Neindorf.
Yeah, that horse has been plugging around okay. He's probably on a really hard mark, even for a horse that races all the time in Melbourne, but I'm sure he'll run well.
Now, off the back of Farivia's winning the Cosette on the weekend, our Dare to Dream horse of the week is another filly out of Astern. This one was purchased by Sarah Rutten at this year's Magic Millions sales. Now, she's being offered as a ladies-only horse, giving her owners a chance to race with some valuable bonuses alongside the lucrative SA Racing Rewards scheme. Now, Astern was a Group 1 Golden Rose winner, and at start, he's already produced 2 Group 1 winners in Golden Mile and Affair Suivo.
Yeah, for a sprinter, he's doing an interesting job at stud. Versatile, which you see a lot of sprinters can do this, but Golden Mile's Group 1 coming a mile, and Affair to Sweevers was here a few years ago at 2,000 metres. So certainly some versatility there, which is important for a, prospective horse. Yeah,
now the dam of this filly, a Roha Cat, was a winner herself and has already produced 3 winners, including Hinchpin, who was placed at Group 3 level back here in Essa, I think for the McAvoys a few years ago. Now, trainer Sarah Rutten says she's a classy, good walker from a proven family winners and is in that affordable range around that 45k mark. So if you're looking to get into ownership, especially if you're a lady, this is a sensational way to do it. Or guys, if your partner or family member wants to get involved, this is the perfect way to get them involved in the thrill of ownership. So if you're interested in any of these or some more opportunities, please head to daretodream.com.au for plenty of ownership opportunities around SA. Our first guest of today is one of Australia's best trainers. He's trained the likes of Group 1 winners All Silent and Magic Time, and he's got a plethora of exciting runners in his stable, including this mare, Splashback, who's set to run in Saturday's Leon Macdonald Stakes. Welcome, Grahame Begg.
How are you?
Very well, mate. Thanks for taking the time to chat to us. Now, last season, 69 winners at 26.5% strike rate. What's the stable secret to that exceptional strike rate?
Just keep on placing the horses right.
Is it you that is the mastermind behind all of that, or is there someone else that's got that job?
No, that's my job. So I get paid to do. And as I said, we try to put them in the races where we think they're best suited and, try to place them right. If we don't think it feels right, we don't go with them and we wait for another day.
That's very clever. And over the last 12 months, that strike rate's pretty damn good with Geordie Childs too. I think it's 31.5% there. So you've obviously got a lot of faith in Jordan, and that combination's flying, and he's going to ride Splashback on Saturday at Morphettville.
Yeah, that's correct. So he takes over on Saturday. Just looks a really nice race for her. The time frame from running in the Ori Star Stakes, 3 weeks buffer, and then 3 weeks going to the Let's Elope at Flemington on the 13th. We had to have a bridging run, and it just looked, the ideal setup for her. Also to a trip away over to Adelaide. It just might season her up a little bit more. She's a mare that we're going to have to be a bit careful with her training and everything like that, even though she races well fresh. But she's a very good doer. We find it's hard to get the weight off her, so just might season her up a bit more, and without having, to work her hard on the tracks. leading up into her next race. But we're very happy with it. She's trained on beautifully since the Ori Star, and we think the 1400 looks a good setup for her.
If we go back before the Ori Star, mate, it was the race on June 21 at Flemington that had everyone talking. It was some sort of win that day. Watching that, did you think she was capable of doing what she did? Because she came from nowhere and probably won by almost a length in the end.
Yeah, it was pretty arrogant finish. No, turning for home, I thought, gee, she's in all sorts of trouble. But, her ability, and Tom was able to extricate her out in a bit of clear air, and she was able to mow them down.
And you mentioned the Ori Star. What was the wash-up from that run? Obviously dropping back to 1200. There was a few sharp sprinters in that were able to, I guess, pinch a little break. She was pretty good through the line, I thought, and obviously 1400 is where you see her pet distance.
Yeah, look, she had a 42-day break between runs, so we had to run her somewhere. And during that period of time, we had a lot of wet tracks over at Cranbourne, and she wasn't available to get on the grass too much in that period of time. So, so she come up short on that day. Look, it was a pretty solid run race, a run 1.9. She just got left a bit flat-footed, got out very wide on the track, nearly on the outside fence towards the finish, and made it very, very difficult. But you're right, she did start to really hit her straps the last 100 metres of the race. So I really felt that was the best part of the race. Obviously, going back up to 1,400 metres, it looks an ideal style of race for her.
You mentioned the trip away from home. This would be the most significant trip she's had. What's that entail? How have you mapped that out, getting her to Adelaide for Saturday's race?
Well, she'll leave to go over on Thursday night, and obviously travel overnight. She'll have a pretty easy day on Friday, and a bit of a treadmill, and then Saturday morning she'll have another treadmill, and she'll be right to go. She's very fit. She galloped here on Tuesday morning at Cranbourne and worked really, really well. Jordan rode her, and he gave us a very good report card.
And obviously an astute trainer like yourself would have had a good look at Rivals Saturday. How did you assess this race? It's been won by some good horses over the journey, but I guess she profiles like one of these going forward.
No, they're never easy, don't worry. I think that Running By is probably one of the ones to beat. She's drawn out a little bit, but she likes to roll forward in her races. She's a mare that wants to get on good ground. Most of her best form has been on good tracks, so hopefully from their sake they might get a better surface, but I'd say she'll be the one to beat. There looks to be good speed in the race, just having a bit of a preliminary look at the form, so that should suit Splashback.
Very nice. Now, your other runner on Saturday is at Moonee Valley, de Bergerac, with Tommy Preble in the saddle. How's that horse going to go?
Well, he's been in good form this preparation. He's won 2 and been placed his other 2 starts, so it looks a good setup for him. He's just drawn out a tad, but I think the unknown for him is probably going to Moonee Valley and how it plays on the day. The rail's gone out. It's out 5 metres from the true running of last meeting, so it'd be interesting to see if they can run on. Being the last race of the day, I'd say probably that may be the case, and there looks to be good speed in the race and the horse is in good form. Now,
there's a horse that we know pretty well here in SA and owned by a good friend of ours, and James Jordan, who's made his way to your stable, A Samurai Mind. How's that horse settled in, and what's, I suppose, the spring plans for A Samurai Mind?
Well, first of all, we just started him off very gently. He went over to Geelong and he did a bit of training at Tom Sadler's, bit of rural property work and a bit of long, steady build-up, and then we flicked him over to the beach. He did a bit of a stint over at Balnarring Beach with Lynn Tolson and Leonie Proctor, so he's only been back into the stable with us for the last sort of week or so, but he settled in well. So he's had a little bit of a stride out on Tuesday morning. So far, so good. He'll be ready to sort of go to jump out in a couple of weeks' time. And now we're just going to ease our way through with him. Obviously, we're just going to probably keep him at his benchmark for this stage and try to build his resume up. And, we're obviously going to be learning about him. We've had a good look at his form. I feel that he's probably better, possibly shorter distances. But the horse is a big, strong horse and, looking forward to getting him to the races.
Well, we're looking forward to getting Splashback here, mate, because we think brings some serious class and excitement to Saturday's Leon Macdonald Stakes. So we hope she runs well. We're sure she will, and we appreciate you taking some time to have a chat to us on Frontrunner.
Thanks, guys.
All right, it's time to preview the Leon Macdonald Stakes. It's a listed weight per age race over 1,400 metres. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about the Behemoth Stakes being a good horses race. Well, I tell you what, the Leon Macdonald Stakes tops that. We've had Dalasan, Behemoth, Galo Chop, Southern Speed, Alcopop, and Fields of Omagh. They're all horses on this honour roll. Serious horses. Going to be interesting to see which horse puts their name on that board this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Some genuine stars of, I guess, the modern era there. And, it's going to be, I think it's a slightly different situation this year. Normally we see a lot of the proven Group 1 horses using these races as, I guess, their progression to the spring. It's a little bit similar with Splashback. I think, obviously, the X factor, this horse that, you know, when she did a number on Rivals a couple of starts ago, had everyone talking about just how good she was and what she was capable of doing. Because when you watch that vision, it's hard to fathom that she gets up on that occasion. But I think this is a really good setup by Grahame Begg. He's identified this as the right path to take her into some better races over there in Melbourne. So she's the horse to beat in what is a good addition to the race. Big field, I like the race, but I also really like Splashback.
Now let's have a look at some of the stats that matter for this race. Now, apart from Sky Punch back in 2020, who won at $41, the average winning price of this race is $4.65 over the last decade. So has been a good race for those in the market. Favourites have run really well. 3 winners and 4 placings in the last 10. And as we touched on before with Grahame Begg, the Grahame Begg by Geordie Childs combination is striking at 32% over the last 12 months. So when those two combine, good things usually happen. So taking that into account, and obviously what we heard from Grahame before, you got to think Splashback is the most likely on Saturday. She was a $2.60 favourite in the Group 3 Ori Star last start, but now gets to her pet trip of 1,400 metres where she's 4 from 5. She's come up $2.35, drifted out to about $2.90. Is that the fair price for it?
I'm happy to take that. Yeah, I think also when you look back at the good horses that have won this race, they've won it on probably class getting them through at 1,400. Good horses can win at those sort of trips. Splashback is a 1,400, maybe potentially a miler at best. I think, which is a massive X factor in a race like this. I think, you know, barrier 8's probably not a bad draw. Jordan can stay out of trouble, I guess, to a degree. She'll get back. But on what we've seen in Melbourne, I just think she'll be far too good for these. Yeah,
well, Grahame seems to think so, but Running By was the one horse that thought could potentially be her foil. The second elect in the market, $5.50, but also is a dual acceptor here for Moonee Valley along with Shame. Now, Running By's best is good enough, and you have to respect any horse that comes across from the Kieran Maher camp.
Absolutely, yeah, right stable. Probably the sticky gates against Running By. I think that would have buoyed the chances of Grahame and the rest of the team. I think I thought Cafe Millennium might be the danger of the horse that will probably get a pretty good run up on speed from gate 2. Celine Gaudray comes over to ride. We've seen this horse win over 1,400 at Flemington. That was back in June. Wasn't far away last start, only beaten a couple of lengths behind Zoo Sensation. Running By was second in that race. I think that's pretty good form. And as we know at the parks, if you're just able to dictate for a furlong or 2, you can go a long way to, you know, pinching that, I guess, section of the race that you need to make it very hard to beat.
Now, we got 4 horses that are first up on Saturday, including the map, which we chatted about earlier. But there's a stable that's got a great record in this race with winners like Dalasan and Southern Speed, and that is that of Andrew Glewis. This race obviously means a lot to them, and they're going to settle up Aruga Mama. I caught up with Andrew a little bit earlier on in the week to have his thoughts on that runner.
Yeah, excited to start up Aruga Mama this preparation in the Leon. It's a race that's dear to our stable. First up, probably don't expect too much from her, just going through her paces, and hopefully that's as a foundation start for a nice spring ahead. We'll probably get through this, then head towards the Balaclava Cup.
Look, potentially just needs a little bit further Aruga Mama or another start, but definitely one to follow into the spring.
Absolutely, yeah. Good horse on her day, and I reckon when she gets to sort of 2,000 metres, that's when you see the best of Aruga Mama. She's ultra competitive horse. You'd love to own her. I think there's a couple that fall, as you said, into that category. Tip is probably another one. I thought his 2 runs last prep, well, he only had the 2 runs, but he ran really well on both occasions, and they're in some pretty good races. The City of Adelaide run was superb. He got up on speed that day and was only beaten a length over 15.29. When you go back, his previous prep, that was October last year, he was flying over sort of 2,000 and further. So really interested to see what Shane and Chelsea Kay will do with that horse going forward, because in the back of the mind's got to be an Adelaide Cup with a horse like him, I would have thought.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Michael Hickmott has 3 runners in this race, including the stable debutant Cotelet, who I think profiles pretty similarly to stablemate Dubai Poet, who's also in this race a year back, a recent purchase to the stable. Had that first up run, then Dubai Poet ran on to run second in the Balaclava Cup, Murray Bridge Cup. So I reckon Cotelet probably needs this run. But what are your thoughts on his other runners?
Yeah, barrier draws haven't really helped. You would think drawing the parks for that pair. Dubai Poet's 2 runs back have been super. Went over to Warrnambool and ran well behind Dashing in the Wangoom on a heavy, and then Mildura Cup run was very good up on speed. Yeah, Cotelet, the interesting runner. When you go back, if you go back November 16 last year, was in a race where Briasa was successful. That's the Hunter. It's a Group 2, $1 million Group 2, just $1 million Group 2 over there in Newcastle for the team. But yeah, if he can recapture any of that sort of form now, it's going to be a horse to follow. I reckon into races like the Christmas Handicap, a similar path to, as you mentioned, they followed with Dubai Poet last season.
And lastly, she's only run the 1,400 metres once in her career, but I was pretty impressed by Lingani's run in the Behemoth, ran on nicely from the tail.
Yeah, I reckon everyone probably, pigeonholed that horse, that it needed a heavy track on the back of that really impressive win prior when absolutely pants Santhron by 7.36 lengths. That was as heavy as you get at Morpheville, and then yeah, took some really good ground off Q-Man last start in the Behemoth, so got to respect that. Good gate. Look, the horse has done absolutely nothing wrong. Would all love to have a horse that's had 14 starts, won 6 of them, been in the money 3 other times, and $273,000 in prize money. So she'll run well from that middle gate for the Blanche Stable.
Yeah, and a bit of early specking too. 12s into $8 since this morning. So Splashback is your $2.90 favourite, running by at $5 second elect. Then you got Lingani at $8 along with Dubai Poet, and then Cafe Millennium and Great Maximus around that $8.50, $9 mark. Link, it's a cracking race. Who are we settling on for your numbers?
Yeah, Splashback's one of the best of the day, I think. She'll be too good for these. I thought Cafe Millennium was the danger up on speed. I reckon will run really well. Dubai Poet's got to go in. I know Michael would have had this race in his sights for a little while, and got to respect running by. Kiramar doesn't have too many bad horses, even though he's got about 400.
Yeah, well, everyone's going to be following in Splashback, I think, after today's episode. As we near the spring, it's time to bring back one of our favourite segments. It's Follow Me, and a horse you like to pinpoint to pop in your black book, sort of follow on the Saturday ahead. Who have you got for us this weekend?
Yeah, I wouldn't be alone in spotting this one at the trials, over and under for the Aaron Bay Ned Taylor stable. This horse, it's had a couple of trials, but its most recent was behind Q-Man. And look, to the eye, this horse looked to be going as well as Q-Man. Q-Man's come out and won a Group 3 since that. So if this horse can bring what it does at the trials to race day, you think it's going to be very competitive here in Adelaide. It's a former Victorian, first up this weekend in race 6. Look, when you look at race 6, it's not an easy race. There's a stack of quite, I guess, progressive horses, all drawn a little bit wide, which makes it interesting. But, there was a lot to like about over and under. Let's hope it doesn't fall into that category of just a really good trialer and doesn't take it to race day. But I think it's a watch and a horse that will, I would think could find itself in Melbourne at some point during the spring.
All right, Link, it is best bets time, and you've got a couple on Saturday that you like the look of. Started off nice and early. I know you like to get it early. And race 1's a benchmark 66 for the 3-year-olds over 1,250 metres. There's 3 last start winners in this field of 6, including More Than Hope from the Cody Reardon Yard. I know that's a horse you've got a bit of time for. So I caught up with Cody earlier on this week.
Very pleased with the horse. He's a very progressive horse. He's a horse that, he's still doing a lot wrong race day. Mentally, he's still putting it all together, but it was impressive to see him go to the front and do what he did the other day. Obviously, on the 10-day back up into Saturday, the horse came through the run really, really well. He's quite a tough young horse, and he comes through the run really well. He just had a light piece of work there this morning, and he'll head to the races on Saturday, and I'm expecting quite a forward showing from him.
Now, as I said, I know you got a lot of time for More Than Hope, but there's another horse that you quite like in the opener on Saturday.
Yeah, I think everyone involved with More Than Hope would be disappointed to see Bakash come here to Adelaide. This horse has got really good form, good 2-year-old form that's carried over into its 3-year-old campaign. the Lindsay Park stable, look, they don't come to Adelaide unless they, know that they're genuinely going to be hit or, be very hard to beat. And Bakash has got form around Jimmy Ricard. We've seen that horse win impressively in Melbourne last weekend. And then its next runner, Chased Home Escher at Moonee Valley. That's very good form for a race like this. This is a benchmark 66 on the Parks. Drawn the right gate, Celine Goldray rides. I think it'll be hard to beat. But yeah, follow More Than Hope going forward. It's good to see Cody ridden with a progressive horse. I think it's got a fair bit of upside. Yeah, definitely. Bakash, $1.75 chance at the moment. What is it? More Than Hope's at $9. So a bit of value there. And it looks like Law's War will probably come out, which is the current second favourite because that horse ran today at Strathalbyn. So let's move on to race 8, and it's the feature, my friend, and you are very keen on the favourite. Yeah, Splash Black created a massive impression a couple of runs ago there at Melbourne and Flemington. Come from absolute moleback. Horses don't do that very often and win as easily as she did in the end. Look, it's really good placement by Grahame Begg. It's just a horse with a lot of upside, and you think she's destined for much better races than this. And, I love the placement. Look, we know we've mentioned how good of a trainer he is and what sort of strike rate he has. So Splashback, I reckon, will be very hard to beat in the Leon Macdonald Stakes and put her name on a very good honour roll. Yeah, very, very good honour roll. So it's currently she's currently $2.90 in the market there, Splashback, in race 8. So we've got race 1, number 1, Bakash, into race 8, number 13, Splashback. Well, that wraps up another good show. Thanks to Grahame Begg for coming on. Great to pick the mind of one of Australia's most astute trainers. Give us a follow on our socials, X, Facebook, Instagram. Head to daretodream.com.au and obviously the website daretodream.com.au for all your ownership needs. We've got Sarah Rutten's horse up there. Will Clarkin's jumped on board. He's got a couple 3-year-olds, I think, that are up there now. So plenty of really good trainers here in SA to get involved in if you are interested in ownership. Absolutely. It's the right time of year to get involved. Good horses are up and about, and hopefully one shows up here in Adelaide and does a number on them Saturday, Splashback. Yeah, it'll be good to see a good horse win another good horses race. Thanks again for your efforts, Link, and obviously follow the great man in He's On Fire, and we'll chat to you in a couple of weeks' time.